Owen Benjamin tried to poison my lasagna. That's how you're going to try and diss someone in a wheelchair? By saying that the wind blew them over? That's your slight jab at me, buddy? Nice try. Must be nice to try and make, jokes like that. Found out about Owen Benjamin in The Unbearables. I can't remember exactly who told me about them. It might have been one of them who had reached out to me, actually. Long story short, in like March of 2018, I was looking to, of course, continue building the show, and I was looking for a group of networkers, kind of like-minded creative conservatives, and I was told about The Unbearables. I found out about Owen through the JRE podcast. To be honest, I wasn't really a big fan of him comedically. Like, I thought he was okay, but he wasn't, great. But I kind of liked what he was doing with the whole, anti-trans kids thing. That really spoke out to me. And in the beginning, The Unbearables seemed to be a great network. People who were doing creative stuff like art and design and podcasting and video production, parody, songs, musicianship, in the case of Chuck Boris, and just late night streams, which was how I met the original DZ guys. Of course, John Neary was my first interview for the brief period of time I was with the Bears. But here's the thing, Owen's not even a conservative. He's a fucking leftist, posing. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. How dare you! Owen is doing the shit that mass shooters do before they go out and do a school shooting. Here's my manifesto. We need to get rid of the weak people, and I'm not saying he's going to be the one to do this.
An Australian man murdered his wife with a pair of scissors, stabbed her in the chest.
This is a warning to the general public about Owen Benjamin. We've warned you. How dare you!
Must be nice.
According to him, the goat urinated on him first, in front of Amy.
all this gay talk is pissing off my German Shepherd.
Yeah, so I know that we started this show late, but what can I say? Computer updates always get in the way. OBS needed to do another update, and it took way longer than I thought. But we're here now, and there are several other streams going on, but we'll power through, and we're here. And this is the new standard of excellence in podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Whitfield behind the Scarlet microphone here in South Florida, coming to you on a Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Great to be with you. Contact info, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @SuckerBurners20. Hashtag Whitfield Report. Follow me on Gab, Minds, and Parler at Sam Whitfield. Yes, Parler is back, and we will get to that in a sec. Also, Facebook.com/the for thesamwhitfield.com is the website, and streamlabs.com / also patreon.com / Whitfield Report if you would like to subscribe there monthly. Big shout out to Sawson for subscribing and being the first or second page. Excuse me. We have Fat Keck Boy too. But at any rate, folks, I want to thank you first of all for all the condolences, guys. On Wednesday. Kind of weird though, because honestly, I did not know, Rush personally. So I must admit, it was a bit, weird for me to be, starting as because I didn't know him personally. But I will say that, he was a big influence on this show, and it's more. So all of you who called and I appreciate it, but I would advise those same condolences. By the way, that song that I just was his theme on by the great Chris Pine, who although she is a liberal, pretty far to the left, was one of the remaining liberals out there who agree to disagree. Call him in that way of thinking. I really can't think of any other liberal in in entertainment really who shares her same belief of agreeing to disagree. It's really far and few between, and that just goes to show that really the country is more divided than ever thanks to the left. And yes, I'm going to say that it's not the right that has been pushing the division in this country at all. It has all been the left. They're the ones who are calling everyone Nazis. They're the ones who are getting people canceled off the off of big tech and social media and forcing people out of their jobs. Cancel culture is really only coming from one side, and it's up to us to do the best we can to rectify that, really by exposing it in all its forms, and that's what is happening more and more these days. Yeah. Well, yeah, and we're calling them commies because they are, Johnny. That is absolutely true. But we have a basis for calling them commies. They don't have a basis for calling us Nazis at all. And by the way, that word has become so diluted now that basically anyone who voted for Trump is now a Nazi, or as some people on YouTube have liked to call it now, Yahtzee. And it really is the reason I bring this up is because when I posted on Wednesday when Rush died, I posted on Facebook that he was an influence of mine, and that he influenced this program. And he was, and that's, like I've said that before in the past, so that's an indisputable fact. And I did get a fair amount of likes, but I also got a fair amount of people on Facebook who were, commenting stuff like, well, I can't believe that you listened to, Rush. He was such a racist. Basically, racist, sexist, homophobe, Nazi, all the, standard fare that they say. And, been saying stuff like, I'm glad that he's dead. They're just posting that stuff out there in the open. And that goes to show that really at the end of the day, how the left feels about Rush is how they feel about us as American citizens. They would be completely okay if we died. And in fact, you're seeing that more and more even now with what's going on in Texas. And yes, I know that Ted Cruz, he went to Cancun and he shouldn't have, but that is a fair point. But what no one is talking about really is how these smug coastal elites are saying, oh well, Texas is freezing and they deserve it because it's a red state. So, people are freezing in Texas, and all the coastal elite can say is, well, I guess that's what happens when you vote conservative. And that's what happens when you deny climate change. And again, if we're talking climate change here, it's not so much that people are denying that climate change exists, because the climate changes all the time. That's what the freaking weather is. Is the climate change. What people are, what conservatives have said for years is that we're not at an apocalyptic stage, right? Al Gore and all these, climate change scientists have been grifting off this whole thing for years about how the ice caps are melting and how, we're gonna have extreme, winters and hot summers, and how eventually, the earth is going to flood and all that. In fact, when An Inconvenient Truth came out, I was in middle school at that point, so like, I don't know, 6th or 7th grade, and I believe in that movie they said that like the end of the world, that the earth was supposed to flood in like 2014 or 2015, and obviously we've surpassed that stage pretty well now. So that didn't pan out, and then Al Gore tried to make like a sequel, and that bombed, and so no one's really buying it. And this whole thing in Texas, they're using that again to push, oh, see, we told you that, catastrophic global warming was happening, and people are dying. And based on what I've heard, folks, some of the reports I've seen, there were a few instances of people who were ill prepared. They didn't have heaters and whatnot, and they did die, which was a shame. But from what I'm hearing from my friends in Texas, the snow is already starting to melt, and they are already starting to thaw out. So the snow apocalypse, folks, I guess is coming to an end. So that is that's good news, and hopefully Texas will continue to recover. As far as whether or not Ted Cruz will be able to recover from this, I don't know. I think the whole thing with people being I can understand why they're upset with him going to Cancun, and I think it's it wasn't a good move on his part, but I don't necessarily know if this is going to be the death nail in the coffin for him over this one thing. And I don't think Beto is going to win against Cruz again. That's what the left is now saying, that Beto can win this, and I just don't see it happening at all, really. But speaking of conservatives and victory laps, whatnot, let me go here to the no, where did I okay, so let's see here. Relative breaking news about an hour or so ago, and I'm not really surprised, but Trump is scheduled to speak at CPAC next week. So, which isn't really surprising. There was some speculation that he wasn't going to speak at CPAC. So, but I don't see where people tell people. I don't see why he wouldn't speak at CPAC. I mean, he is the former president of the United States, and he's also, pretty much the voice of conservatism, or one of the main ones at this point. So obviously he's going to speak, and will he announce that he's going to run in 2024? I don't know. I actually think it's pretty highly unlikely that he's going to run again as president. I don't see that happening, just because he is 70. He is 78 years old almost, and so he'll be in his 80s, and so I don't see him running again in 2024. But I do perhaps see either Donald Trump Jr. Running, or another name that has been put out there is Governor Ron DeSantis, my governor actually, which as much as I like him as governor, and I do like him as governor, I do think that he is pretty much the top he is the most conservative voice at this point. So I don't know if he would win at this point, just because of the election rigging. That's the big question. Because we know that the left is going to try and rig the election again in 2024, and so even if we get a candidate like Ron DeSantis, will he win again? Will he even be able to win again? That is the big question. I think if we, got diligent and really got a grassroots effort going, DeSantis would in fact win. But I mean, we would really have to be vigilant at this point, because they're going to try and steal the election again in 2024 to make sure that we can't come back. And in the meantime, folks, too, we have the 2022 election that we have to focus on with, getting, governors and senators reelected. So that will also be interesting. And conservatives tend to do well in, conservatives really tend to do well during elections where we're kind of the underdog, but when we're on top, that's kind of when we feel a little too comfortable. That's what I've observed. And so that's what will happen. So all right, quick shout out to the chat. We have Zen Rhino in the chat. We have John Arcade, and we have Island Photographer. We also have Bruce Citizen saying, "Hail, Mac Daddy Sammy." And by the way, I'm glad that you're here, Bruce City, because I do want to give a shout out to Bruce City, who did a beautiful tribute video to Rush on her channel, and it's worth checking out. So I will link that in the description. And then also, as I mentioned before, shout out to Fat Heck Boy and Sawson. Hail to them both for signing up over at my Patreon account. So thank you guys for doing that. And now that I actually have some patrons, I'll be posting some more exclusive content. Alright, so let's see what else is and I do have a few Rush clips that I do want to play, since we have been talking about Rush. So this wasn't up when I did the Wednesday tribute show, but Rush's wife, Catherine, was the one who announced his death on Wednesday, and she's going to be taking calls on Monday from people who want to call in and pay their respects to Rush on the radio. But this was her initial statement on Wednesday. So let me get to there on the screen, and we will continue playing.
Hello, everyone. I know that I am most certainly not the Limbaugh that you tuned in to listen to today. I, like you, very much wish Rush was behind this golden microphone right now, welcoming you to another exceptional 3 hours of broadcasting. For over 32 years, Rush has cherished you, his loyal audience, and always look forward to every single show. It is with profound sadness I must share with you directly that our beloved Rush, my wonderful husband, passed away this morning due to complications from lung cancer. As so many of you know, losing a loved one is terribly difficult. Even more so when that loved one is larger than life. Rush will forever be the greatest of all time. Rush was an extraordinary man, a gentle giant, brilliant, quick-witted, genuinely kind, extremely generous, passionate, courageous, and the hardest working person I know. Despite being one of the most recognized, powerful people in the world, Rush never let the success change his core or beliefs. He was polite and respectful to everyone he met. Even most recently, when he was not feeling well in the hospital, he was so appreciative to every single doctor and nurse and custodian and first responder. He never wanted to put anyone out and always thanked them profusely for their help. From today on, there will be a tremendous void in our lives and, of course, on the radio. Rush loved our miraculous country beyond measure. An unwavering patriot. He loved our United States military, our flag, our Constitution, our founding fathers. He proudly fought and defended conservative values in a way that no one else can. Rush often stood up and took arrows on his own because he knew it was the right thing to do. Rush encouraged so many of us to think for ourselves, to learn, and to lead. He often said it did not matter where you started or what you look like. As Americans, we all have endless opportunities like nowhere else in the world. Rush gave us hope that through hard work and determination, we can overcome the obstacles in our lives and be our best. Many of you started small businesses or pursued personal dreams because Rush gave you the faith that you could. He made the most complex issues simple to understand, while making that level of genius look easy. It most certainly was anything but easy. Irreplaceable, remarkable talent. On behalf of the Limbaugh family, I would personally like to thank each and every one of you who prayed for Rush and inspired him to keep going. You rallied around Rush and lifted him up when he needed you the most. I am certain, without a shadow of a doubt, if he could be here today, he would be. He loved you, and he loved this radio program with every part of his being. Instead, we know our Rush is in heaven, encouraging us in the same way he always did on earth. Rush's love for our country and belief that our best days are ahead live on eternally. In Rush's honor, may we all continue Rush's mission in our individual lives and communities. I know all of you listening are terribly sad. We all are. I'm terribly sorry to have to deliver this news to you. God bless you, Rush, and God bless our country.
So that was Rush's widow, Catherine Adams Limbaugh, who will be taking calls on Monday, and people have suggested that I call in, which, let me tell you, I'm going to try and call in if I can. But folks, I've also tried calling into that program over the past, I don't know, 15 years or so, ever since I started this program, and the busy signal has almost always, the busy signal has always hit me. So I've never been able to get in on the show before, but maybe I'll finally get lucky. Even though I was never able to talk to the man himself, maybe I'll get to talk to his wife. And I recently learned that some of you in the audience actually wrote letters to Rush on my behalf, sharing the show, sharing links, talking a little bit about me, which I really appreciate. I do. And I never asked any of you guys to do that, but I really appreciate you guys doing that nonetheless. The effort that you guys made in doing that, to me, means so much, even though I was never able to meet him in person. But because of Rush, like I said, I started this program, but it's also more than that. I went and found out other young conservatives at the time when I started the show, and some of them were, some of them had already started their own shows. Others hadn't yet, and I brought them on, start their podcast. Some of them still have their podcast. Some of them have quit podcasting to go on to other things. And I may have one of them on the Thursday show later this week. We're trying to figure, scheduling out. But suffice it to say, there was a whole generation of, Rush babies that was born, and I was one of them. So, this show isn't going away anytime soon. If you think that, just because Rush is gone, that like conservative media is going away, you've got another thing coming. I'm still here, and I'm not going away anytime soon. Even if YouTube takes me off, and I've got backup platforms, I've got backup mediums. It's going to take more than it's going to take more than Zuck and Susan Wojcicki to take me off the air. I will find another way to make sure that this program stays on the air. And that's why I am incredibly thankful to all of you, as well, who have listened to me over the years, whether you've been listening to me for, all 15 years, and I know there are some of you out there who have been, listening to me for that long, and, or whether you've been listening to me for, just the past year. I always like to. I've said in previous broadcasts that Rush helped me to realize what being a conservative is, and then he who shall not be named, the backyard special boy, definitely taught me what not to do and what conservatism isn't. So take that what you will, but I'm extremely grateful for this audience, for all of you, and I didn't want to announce anything quite yet, but I am planning a big celebration special for March 25th. Will be the 15th anniversary of this show. When I started it back in on March 25th of 2008, so I know this is a bit in advance, but you guys are invited to join me on that date or on that weekend, and we will be planning a whole slew of guest panels and everything, and just because Rush is gone, his legacy is still here. So, we're gonna keep on trucking, folks. Make no mistake. Let's see. Bruce City, does Sam get 15 sparklings? Let's see. Sure. Bruce City also wants to see a hot chick cane me. Well, I mean, we could make that happen, I guess. I know that our resident feminist here at the Whitfield Report, Titty Salad, said that she'd love to beat me up, since she's always wanted to be a conservative. So maybe that can happen. Maybe I'll let Titty Salad take her anger out on all conservative men out on me. So, but who knows? We'll have to see. You'll settle for a wig on basic. Well, I mean, I was thinking, Brew, that a wig on Semper might be better. So is and no, I'm not going to Singapore at all either. But okay. But no, she's just saying that a hot woman should cane me. I don't know. I don't usually let anyone hit me, especially not women. Women. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, I know, Brew. Semper would be a pretty woman, especially since at one point I do remember Semper kind of like had a mullet, so he was pulling that off. That's sort of like having a chick's hair at the very least, but so just in case you missed it, Simber does not know how to build a snowman. I'm not really surprised, Brew. We talked at the beginning of the program though about how everything is fine out there in Texas. People are acting like the snow apocalypse is a big thing, and it's already melting. And it is a tragedy that some people died and whatnot. That's certainly nothing to take lightly. But it's not the snow apocalypse that we thought. Hey, it's Dawson. We live? Yes, we are alive. We are alive, Dawson. We are alive and well. Thank you, by the way, for subscribing to my Patreon page, Dawson. I've shouted you out like twice already in this stream for doing that. So thank you. Thank you for joining Sam Ataria. Speaking of news though, a couple of things to go over. So the website Parler is back up and running. And it's actually moving pretty smoothly here. Or at least it was when I initially it was when I logged in. So let me log in here. And okay, it's requiring that I do this captcha thing, or however say that. So yeah, this is the new interface of Parler. They did a redesign. Looks pretty good. Way better than it was before. So you can check your notifications. You can view the feed, and it works pretty well. So yeah, it seems to be up and running, and apparently they were able to save all the info from the databanks. So there's my page on Parler. So yeah, it's running smoothly, and you can check the trending hashtags as well. So they really did clean up the interface. And let's see. Are we going to a massage parlor? Oh, I wish we were. I wish we were Brew City. That would be well, yeah. That would be that would be that would be interesting. But at this point, nothing is open, including massage parlors. So I would want to go. I would want to go to a massage parlor though, run by Stawson. That seems like it would be interesting. That would be very interesting indeed. Let's see. Dawson Hales for Ghosts. Alright, so let me try now here. Alright, so this is how the new parlay system works. So the field or is currently so it shows you a preview of what that parlay will look like, and then it will give you like a display of the link if you add anything, and same with photos and whatnot. So then you can parlay and then click close. Then let me hit refresh. And that will do it. See, now you have the current parlay here, and everything works well. So yeah, Parlor's back. I still tend to like Gab a little bit better, but that is that. That is how the new Parlor works, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right, let me go back to the camera view here, folks, and let me see. Where'd I put that? Where'd I put? Oh, okay. So we mentioned Ted Cruz going to we mentioned Ted Cruz going to Cancun and how there's big fallout over that. But as it turns out, the fallout is even bigger than we thought, at least for the Cruz family itself. So, headline from the New York Post here. And let me go back to the screen. From the New York Post. Senator Ted Cruz's daughters have to quarantine after family's tone-deaf Cancun trip. Texas Senator Ted Cruz's 2 daughters will have to quarantine for 7 to 10 days after returning from their now infamous trip to Cancun, and they will miss classes at their pricey private school for that whole week, according to a report. The strict pandemic mandated rules at Houston's elite St. John's School were reported by Politico and show just the latest cost of the trip to the Mexican resort town, taken while millions of constituents suffered through cold, power outages, and water shortages. Cruz has faced blowback for the trip from all angles, including Houston's police chief and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who, by the way, Chris Christie is one to talk, though, right? Because he was out there on the beaches of New Jersey when the quarantine started, and I believe his excuse was, I'm the governor, I can do whatever I want. So, not much sympathy for, Chris Christie. Still, more blowback came when he blamed the trip on the girls, ages 10 to 12, who said asked to take the jump by Thursday, and he'd fessed up that it was obviously a mistake. Oh, smooth, Ted, so you're blaming your kids now. So many parents were heatedly commenting on the trip on the Facebook page for the exclusive $31,820 a year school that the administration closed. Type comments. Geez, $31,820 private. That is more than my college. Like, isn't. Granted, I live in state here still. Senator Ted Cruz at the Cancun. Oh yeah, so now you're. Yeah, that's nice, Ted. The school mandates that any students who travel internationally must undergo 7 to 10 day quarantine on the return, and the school has no option online and. So they'll really be missing. Just weeks before the cruise trip, parents were warned about traveling amid the pandemic by the school in the email protocol. At the end of the day, he's taking the heat for using it as an excuse for taking vacation. That's a mistake, parents. Or Hartworth told the website. From my parents' standpoint, all I'm asking will follow the CDC guideline. And I need to say I have no reason to. I don't feel bad for him. Victoria Cannot, another parent, also. There are people ticked off by those who are the VIPs who don't want to be bothered to follow the rules because it infringes on their reps for Cruz. The kids will follow the policy. Senator Cruz's daughters tend to follow St. John's policy. A spokesman told the St. John's did not immediately respond for. So there you have it, folks. Apparently, you know, we're not the only ones picked with Cruz, and it's bad when both the left and the right are on Cruz's case for it. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Fat Cat Boy says, I think this is Cruz's last term. I predict either a Democrat or worse, Dan Crenshaw take a seat. Well, Fat Cat Boy, I hate to say it, but I don't see how Dan Crenshaw is worse than a Democrat at this point. Maybe the same, but certainly not worse than Dems at this point. But yeah, this may I think this will ruin his chances for re-election in at the state level. I don't know if it will ruin his chances of winning at the presidential level if he decides to run there. I don't think it will impact that as much. But, at this point, he might not even want to run for political office either. So, there's that too. Who knows? It'll be crazy. But anyway, folks. Yeah, I don't have much more to cover on this stream, but I do want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. I know it's a bit short of a show, and again, apologies for the late start broadcast, but I really do appreciate all of you tuning in tonight, and I will be back on Thursday, and I'll have some shorter videos coming out this week. Until then, God bless, God save this great nation, God, freedom, legacy in that order. Mega dittos to y'all, and God bless.